Welcome back, everyone. Hope everyone is going out well out there today. Sorry, it's been a few days. I'm still at a hostel, so trying to find time to put out videos. But today we're going to cover some topics that I've been wanting to cover for a while, connected to the Grateful Dead, the band, and the Golden Gate Bridge, and also the song Ripple. And we're also going to talk a bit about Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, the current situation, and the cryptocurrency Ripple as well. So we're going to talk about a bunch of different things, but it's mainly going to be focused on the Golden Gate Bridge, the Golden Ratio, the Grateful Dead. So let's jump into it. Don't have a lot of time. So if you guys don't know who the Grateful Dead is, American rock band formed in Palo Alto, which is the San Francisco Bay Area. So they're formed in San Francisco, guys. They have a huge connection to San Francisco. I'm going to be laying the groundwork of why they're so connected to San Francisco. Okay. And so just wanted to lay the groundwork why this band is going to be connected to the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. So they have an album called Dead Set, and it's their seventh album and their 18th overall. And this album has the Golden Gate Bridge with a skeleton. You guys can see the skeleton with the American hat. Okay, so almost reminds you of like Uncle Sam, right? But the skeleton, right? So the dead is looking at the bridge, right? So there's the huge symbolism here that I'm going to continue to build upon as we go through. But I just wanted to lay the groundwork again to show you that even one of their album covers has a skeleton looking at the Golden Gate Bridge. Now, another thing I found on their website, they're selling things with the skeleton here with the Golden Gate Bridge and the skeletons walking across it. And notice how it's kind of formed into a bit of a circular shape. Okay. But this is called the Deadheads Across the Golden Gate poster. And in case you guys don't know what a deadhead is what they call the fans of the Grateful Dead. So, yeah, I just wanted to point out another synchronicity with not only do they have the album with the Golden Gate Bridge, they have also memorabilia, a poster on their website that also features the Golden Gate Bridge and a skeleton. Notice the prism. Notice the prism here, actually. I just noticed that. That reminds me of the Pink Floyd band. But I'm not going to get into that here, but that's just interesting. I just noticed. And you're going to see they always have roses, guys, and I'm going to explain why that is and how it's connected to the Golden Ratio and the Golden Gate. So another thing that's happening now that connects this is just recently there's an article on August 13th, guys, and that's actually a very interesting date because that was one day before the monkeypox. On August 13th, they held an event. It's called Deadheads for Kamala. Okay, don't forget Kamala Harris. She was selected as the DA of San Francisco. Okay, and no, this is from their website. Kamala, Deadheads for Kamala. Notice again, they have the roses. You're going to see always roses. And this is a big connection with the Golden Ratio, but also we know that's a huge symbol for the Rosicrucians and many things. The rose is symbolic of the spiritual path, the rosy cross, Christ, a lot of different things. But yeah, I just wanted to point out that right now, just in our current times, Kamala Harris has been connected with the Deadheads for Kamala. And Mickey Hart is the drummer for the percussionist for the Grateful Dead. And just to expand upon it more of how this band is connected to the Golden Gate, Mickey Hart played at the 75th anniversary of the Golden Gate, and he built a replica bridge and he recorded the sounds of the bridge, guys, because the bridge actually makes a sound. The wind whistles through the bridge. Notice that Mickey Hart, the drummer for the Grateful Dead, sonifies, which he creates song or sound out of the Golden Gate Bridge. So music, right? Mickey Hart to turn the Golden Gate Bridge into a giant wind harp. So I want you guys to remember the word wind harp and turning the bridge into a wind harp. And I'm going to connect that in a bit. But again, here he is at the live performance on the anniversary of the Golden Gate with a replica bridge, and he's playing the recorded sounds that he recorded on the bridge. And it just reads down here, Hart will be recording the sounds of the bridge moving as it captured with devices posted all over the span. So yeah, he had this fascination with the sounds that the bridge would make. Okay, so it's almost like an instrument. And he called it a giant wind harp, and that's gonna matter here in a minute when I start talking about their song Ripple. So before we get into that, we need to go over the Grateful Dead song Ripple. Okay, and this is I'm gonna connect everything I just connected with the Grateful Dead and the Golden Gate Bridge with this song by the Grateful Dead called Ripple. Okay, this was released on the Pope's birthday, the video for this, not the actual song, but the video on the YouTube video, which is full of symbolism, full of astrological signs, full of Christianity, full of Bible, full of symbols. Just this whole video is full of symbols. It was released on the Pope's birthday in 2020, his 84th birthday. And don't forget, guys, the Pope is Pope Francis, like Francisco, okay? And Pope Francis, actually, a matter of fact, Pope Francis equals San Francisco in gematria. And of course, we know San Francisco, the Golden Gate. The Golden Gates need keys. Gates need keys. The Vatican has the gold and the silver key on the flag. So there's a whole connection there with the Pope, but I'm not going to get into it. But anyway, so this is the first image you see on the Ripple video of this video here that was released December 17, 2020. You see the cards with the rose, and these are tarot cards. And the skeleton hand reaches in and turns over the middle card, and it's the world card, this card. But the rose is a very important key to this whole puzzle because the Grateful Dead always has roses. And in fact, they even start their video here with the rose cards. And the reason for that is because we're going to be talking about the golden ratio, the Fibonacci sequence. Now, the Fibonacci sequence looks like a spiral getting smaller, going down the rabbit hole, the spiral, right, down into the hole. Now, the rose also has petals that can follow the golden ratio. Notice how it seems to be getting smaller. Notice how the rose spirals down into itself, okay? So there's a whole connection here with the golden ratio and the rose and the Fibonacci sequence. Of course, we're talking also about the Golden Gate Bridge, like the golden ratio, okay? Now, the second scene of the video, Ripple, after the cards, is you see the Fool. So this is the Fool or the Jester, or there's probably multiple different things you can give to this. But notice he's wearing a coat with roses. These are roses also on his coat, and he's carrying a rose. So again, guys, all about the rose. And again, the Fibonacci is spiraling down like the rose kind of spirals into itself. Now, the first lyrics of this song, when he's coming into this, when he's standing here in front of the sun, it says, "If my words did glow with the gold of sunshine." So we're making this connection to gold, like the Golden Gate Bridge. Remember, the band that wrote this song formed near San Francisco. Now, why are they referencing gold and the sun? Well, the sun, if you go to the periodic table, gold is the 79th element. And on the Royal Society of Chemistry, they give gold the symbol of the sun, the golden sun. Okay, so again, this is clearly symbolic of the sun, gold of sunshine. Okay, that's what they call it. If my words did glow with the gold of sunshine. Now, in gematria, which is the practice of taking numbers or letters and turning them into numerical values, the Golden Gate Bridge equals 168 in the same cipher as gold of sunshine, 168. Now, not only do they match, and I'm comparing this song to the Golden Gate Bridge, and the first lyric is the gold of sunshine. Not only do they have the same gematria, The gematria itself points us to the golden ratio, 1, 6, 8. These are the first 3 digits, and these are the most famous digits associated with the golden ratio. When everyone talks about the golden ratio, they talk about 1, 6, 1, 8. Of course, there's 2 ones in there, so the main 3 digits associated with the most famous digits are the numbers 1, 6, and 8, and they're in that order even. Okay, this is the order that they appear in the sequence, 1, 6, 8. So the fact that the Golden Gate Bridge equals 168, and I'm connecting it to the golden ratio and gold, and the lyric, the very first lyric of their song is "Gold of Sunshine," which also equals 168. So this points us once again to this riddle of the golden ratio. Now, this is where it gets deep, guys, because I told you that Mickey Hart, the drummer, played at the 75th anniversary of the Golden Gate Bridge, and he said this about the Golden Gate Bridge. He said, and its vibration in the universe, a multi-dimensional instrument. It is a giant wind harp blowing in the wind. So literally the drummer for this band calls the Golden Gate Bridge a multi-dimensional instrument, and it's a giant wind harp. I've already compared the first scene of this Ripple song to the Gold of Sunshine, which matches the Golden Gate Bridge. But the second scene, or the third scene, I guess you should say, is the fool is now sitting on a harp or a lyre. So a lyre is a small U-shaped harp, okay? And thank you guys so much for pointing this out to me yesterday and helping me to add to this decode. I made a post in my community section asking for some help identifying this. I should have known what this was, but once people started saying it was a lyre or a harp, I immediately started understanding. Because you have the fool being played. Notice the hand of God, which is actually in this case a female. The hand is reaching out and it's taking control of the harp, and the fool is playing the music. So, you ever heard this phrase, playing the fool, right? So I think that's what this is really saying, playing the fool, right? As in playing the instrument. He's sitting in the middle of an instrument that's normally strung, and he's sitting where you'd normally be playing at, where the strings would be. But instead, he's sitting there with a guitar or a sitar, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe an old-fashioned guitar, and he's playing the strings. So instead of the strings being on the harp, he is the one playing the strings. So lots of symbolism here. But notice how the harp has the spiral, guys. And I was saying this should be very clearly showing you this is about the golden ratio. First of all, the harp itself is golden, okay? But it spirals, okay? And not only at the top does it spiral, look at all these spirals all over this thing. There's multiple spirals all over this. So this is the golden ratio. The fool is sitting on this harp, okay? Now, the reason that they're using this is because in the song, the lyric that's being sang as this scene is coming is, "And my tunes were played on the harp unstrung." So here you have a harp that doesn't have strings. So there's your harp unstrung. And then you have the drummer for this band once calling the Golden Gate Bridge a harp. And think about this, guys. The supports, the cables for the Golden Gate Bridge almost look like harp strings. When it gets closer to the supports, this almost looks like a harp. Like, picture this part of it being an instrument that you could almost play. If the strings were tight enough, you could almost play it. So again, this is so clearly about the Golden Gate and the Golden Gate Bridge and the golden ratio, because all signs point to this. So it's so clear. So why the lyre? So the lyre is a U-shaped harp, but that's actually what is pictured here is the lyre. So let's look at it. So it was King David in the Bible who plays the kinnor, which is a Hebrew lyre. So notice that the word lyre is like being a liar, right? So there's a whole riddle here with lying, right? But I don't want to talk about that here. I just want to talk about the golden ratio and the lyre here. But so King David played a lyre, okay? But it was called the kinnor. It's a Hebrew word. And look at what Kinnor equals. Kinnor equals King David, 81 in the same cipher. So King David was supposedly playing a Kinnor, and they both equal the same. Now, not only that, if you go, this is an important number to the Golden Gate Bridge. Again, Mickey Hart playing the Golden Gate Bridge, and he called it a harp, right? And now King David plays the harp. So the Golden Gate Bridge is an instrument. And look at what Golden Gate Bridge equals. It equals 81 in both forwards and backwards reduction. Okay, so not only does King David equal 81 and the harp that he plays, but also the Golden Gate Bridge has a 2-cipher 81s. Okay, and this is not a coincidence. And again, just to picture this, look how this is very similar to the strings on a harp and the bridge. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next part where this is something I've already discovered and shown on my channel before, but this connects perfectly with this King David playing the harp. All right, so first of all, the chapter in the book of Revelation about the church of Philadelphia. So Philadelphia is the word that has 2 phi's in it. Now, phi is the Greek letter for the golden ratio, okay? And the chapter in book of Revelation that's all about phi and the key of David, which I'm going to tell you I believe is music or playing the secret chord. Remember the song Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen? Leonard Cohen, his lyric was, I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. So David the musician plays a secret chord on the harp and it pleased the Lord. And in this chapter in Revelation, it talks about the Philadelphia, which is the phi golden ratio, and it talks about basically the key of David right here. And he hath the key of David. So the key of David, what I believe, is the secret chord that's mentioned in this Hallelujah song. Now look at this, guys. The key of David equals Golden Gate Bridge in the same cipher. Okay, now if you take the whole chapter now this is amazing stuff, guys. This is absolutely insane. If you take the whole chapter of the Philadelphia Church of Philadelphia chapter and you put it in the calculator, you get 1618 right here. This is the golden ratio. I mean, come on. And then you have this being displayed with the spiral, which is the golden ratio, and the musician sitting on the golden ratio, and King David being a musician playing the secret chord. The key of David equals the Golden Gate Bridge. The golden ratio is 1618, and the whole Philadelphia chapter sums to 10618, which is essentially the first 5 digits of the golden ratio. Okay, that's absolutely insane. Now, as we go on into the song, the main chorus lyrics to this song are ripple in still water when there is no pebble tossed nor wind to blow. So remember, I told you Mickey Hart, the drummer for the Grateful Dead who did this song, he said that the Golden Gate Bridge was like a giant wind harp. And remember, earlier in the song, they mentioned a harp, and now they're mentioning wind, nor wind to blow. So there's nothing causing the ripple outside of it, basically, is what it's saying. That there's no pebble being tossed to cause the ripple. There's no wind to cause the ripple. So what's causing the ripple? Well, in this video, it shows a spider, okay, which might have a whole another decode connected with that. It's the spider being dropped down causing the ripple. And this is what's being sang at that moment. Okay, so it's not the wind, it's not the pebble, it's a spider. And don't forget, spiders string strings or webs, which could also be used for strings. Okay, I'm pretty sure you can use spider webs to make strings, and maybe you can even make guitar strings out of spider web. I don't know, but either way, I believe that's why they're using this. There's also a huge symbol with the spider, but I'm not going to get into it here. But anyways, again, the Golden Gate Bridge equals 168. That's the first 3 digits that the most famous digits in the golden ratio is 1, 6, and 8, like gold of sunshine. I told you that earlier in the decode. But look at this. The main lyric of the chorus is "Ripple in still water." This is the most prominent lyric that they sing in the song, "Ripple in still water," and that equals in Latin gematria equals 1608. So again, a very similar number to the 168. So this number is coded all throughout this song. Whether you type in the gold of sunshine or ripple in still water, you get in the 168s. Okay. And this is where it gets crazy because this song is, so let's just go over it. So this song is called Ripple. It was released by the Grateful Dead on their album called American Beauty. And it was released as an A-side, Truckin'. So what you do, guys, what I did, guys, is I combined the whole thing. I just typed in Grateful Dead, the Ripple song, the Grateful Dead, American Beauty is the album, and the other side of the track is Truckin'. And if you type in all of this stuff, guys, and put it all together, you get 1618. Do you guys understand what I'm showing you? Wow. I just connected this whole song and the video they made for it to the golden ratio. And now if you type in all the information that goes with this song, Ripple, Grateful Dead, American Beauty, and Truckin', it just happens to equal 1618. Do you know how hard it is to get 1618 in this cipher? You know what cipher this is, guys? It's the Fibonacci cipher. It's the cipher connected with the golden ratio. So even in the Fibonacci cipher, the most perfect cipher for it to equals 1618, and somehow it comes out to be 1618. And again, that's when you take all the information from this whole song, the album, the A side, and the band. If you combine it all, you get the golden ratio. Okay. And that's in the Fibonacci cipher. Wow. So now let's talk about why this is more even mind-blowing, because there's a company based out of San Francisco called Ripple. And again, the Grateful Dead based out of San Francisco and wrote a song called Ripple, and now you have a company that makes a cryptocurrency called Ripple. Now, Ripple, you can see here, designed their logo after the golden ratio. You see? So, again, more evidence to point to this same theme. And here's the story of it. So, an interesting rumor circulating Twitter has raised eyebrows as the U.S. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell has been accused of having a connection with Ripple Labs, which is what I just showed you guys. Ripple Labs, based out of San Francisco, connected to the Grateful Dead song called Ripple. And look at this. The CEO of Ripple, Chris Larson, he said, or the chairman of Ripple, Larson disclosed that they were lucky to get the URL for the Grateful Dead superfan. He added that the decision had to do with the song Ripple from the Grateful Dead. So they're even connecting themselves. This cryptocurrency company, not only are they in the same city as the Grateful Dead, but they're actually connecting themselves specifically to the Grateful Dead and the song Ripple. Okay, Larson confirmed that the iconic 1970 song Ripple by American rock band Grateful Dead served as inspiration for XRP, the cryptocurrency of Ripple. Okay. Now, Ripple, again, is based out of San Francisco. XRP is the XRP is this cryptocurrency created by this company, Ripple, and XRP is most commonly referred to as a bridge currency. So again, we're going right back to a bridge, guys. Again, it's so obvious. And now we're going to talk about a different number. This number 589. I've talked about this before. That's my handle for my YouTube is Decoding with Cody 589. Well, I'm going to show you why. So this number is connected to Ripple and XRP, the cryptocurrency. Notice how there's a meme that began circulating a few years back saying that XRP would hit 589. And this is not a coincidence, guys. They want this number out there for a reason. They don't just choose this random number for no reason. And look at the CEO of Ripple. He follows 589, guys. Come on. And then his cryptocurrency has been speculated to go to 589. And on top of that, In Hebrew gematria, guys, and again, I connected Ripple to San Francisco and the bridge currency and the Golden Gate, right? In gematria, Hebrew, if you translate the Golden Gate to Hebrew, it equals 589. And again, that connects back to Ripple, which is a bridge currency, like the bridge where they're from the same city. And again, now let's connect this to the song Ripple, the video that I just showed you. The fool is sitting on a lyre, which I already talked about in the Ripple video, and a lyre equals 589, guys. So there's your Golden Gate lyre, which equals 589. In Hebrew, the Golden Gate equals 589. The Ripple CEO is falling 589, and the cryptocurrency has a meme about going to 589. Don't forget, Declaration of Independence signed in Philadelphia also equals 589. Now, let me blow your mind even more, because this song, Ripple, debuted on August 18th, 1970 in San Francisco. And the songwriter Jerry Garcia, I'm going to talk about him in a minute, but this song debuted on August 18th, 1970 in San Francisco, the song Ripple. And this song debuted in Lunation 589. I just showed you all this connection with the 589 and the Golden Gate and Ripple, and now I'm connecting it to the song called Ripple by the Grateful Dead. This song was debuted August 18, 1970, which was in the moon lunation 589. Remember, a moon lunation is counting the moons. Ever since 1923, they began counting every new moon. That means this was the 589th and only 589 lunation. This is the only one that ever was going to exist. And this is when this song happened to be released and debuting in the 589. And this debuted right on the heels of a partial lunar eclipse, guys. A partial lunar eclipse in lunation 589. Okay? Again, just absolutely mind-blowing considering what I just showed you in the slide prior to this about the 589s. And you're telling me that, and you guys got to understand that this lunation only going to happen once. Once it's over, it's done. This was the only 589 lunation. And notice that it fell on the day, leaving 135 days in the year. And I showed you that earlier. 135 is the gematria of Golden Gate Bridge and Key of David. So the fact that it also debuted on the day leaving 135 days in the year, and Golden Gate Bridge equals 135, and it debuts in 589, which connects all back to this whole riddle with the Golden Gate equaling 589 in Hebrew. Okay, so again, now we're going to connect it to our current time because it's definitely connected, guys. So this 589 lunation, when the Ripple song debuted, was on a partial lunar eclipse in Saros lunar series 118. That means this is a series of lunar eclipses in the 118 series. So there's multiple 118 eclipses, guys, and they come around every 18 years, 11 and 13 and a third day. Okay, it's right here. Every 18 years, 11 and a third day, you have another one of these eclipses. But guys, I just told you the Ripple song debuted on this eclipse, P118, 589, on August 18th, 1970. And now, coming up next month on September 18th, 2024, it's the same eclipse, guys. I mean, it's not the same one, but it's in the same Saros. It's in Saros 118 again. So that means this eclipse that happened back here when the Ripple song debuted is now coming around one more time. And again, this happens only every 18 years. So I hope you guys understand the significance of this. And why is it important that it's falling on this day, guys? This is the day that Donald Trump will be getting sentenced for his hush money case. Remember, it was supposed to be July 11th, and now it's going to be September 18th. This is the day that Trump was going to be sentenced on this eclipse, like Ripple was released on the 589, same lunar series, the 118. Now Trump's going to be sentenced, supposedly, unless they push it back again, on the 118. And why is that important, guys? Because Donald Trump equals 589. Just like back here in 1970, it was on the 589th lunation that this eclipse happened, and now the same eclipse is coming again, and Donald Trump is going to be sentenced on the same day. It's already confirmed unless they move it back. September 18th, this is the day. Wow. And on top of that, Jerry Garcia, okay, he died August 9th, 1995. He was the writer of Ripple, the song I just spent this whole decode on. And he was born, or no, he died exactly 589 months and 27 days after Donald Trump was born. And again, they debuted their song Ripple in 589 lunation, and Donald Trump equals 589. And Donald Trump was 589 months and 27 days old when Jerry Garcia died, the Grateful Dead, one of the most famous members of the band. And 589 is Donald Trump, and 589 is the Golden Gate in Hebrew. Remember, let me go back. The Golden Gate in Hebrew equals 589. The video for the song Ripple has the lyre, which equals 589. The CEO for Ripple is falling 589. Donald Trump 589. And now Jerry Garcia dies when Trump was 589 months and 27 days. And how's that tie it perfectly? That's because Ripple equals 27 in Chaldean. So you have Donald Trump 589, Ripple 27. This guy helped write the song Ripple. Do you guys understand? The song Ripple debuted in lunation 589, and now the same eclipse that happened that day is coming up next month on September 18th, guys. So watch out. Maybe this whole ritual is just about Donald Trump being sentenced that day. That might just be the event. But that's just crazy, Absolutely insane. So with that being said, guys, I hope you guys understood all this. I know it's a crazy, a bit all over the place, but there might be even more to add to this in another video, but hopefully you guys understood it. Please hit the like button on your way out. Please support the channel. If you guys want to support the channel, there's donation links in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching, and God bless. We'll see you in the next one.